Black woman, when I look into your eyes, let me tell you what I see. I look into the eyes that were the first to see the sun. Eyes that were the first to ever see children run. Eyes of the mother who was the first giver of life. Eyes of the woman who was the first to be a wife. Eyes of the queen who was the first upon the land. I look into your eyes and I am proud to be black man. Black woman, when you speak to me, this is what I hear. I hear the quiet regalness of Queen Hatshepsut commanding a barge on the Nile. I hear the earthiness of Billie Holiday, a voice with grace and style. I hear the power of Queen Nzinga, who led Angolans into war. I hear the confidence of Harriet Tubman, leading slaves through freedom's door. I hear the pride of Nina Simone, singing Young, Gifted, and Blind. I hear the defiance of Rosa Parks, who refused to move to the back. Black woman, when your voice is bitter or filled with rage, I understand. All I hear is pain and love, and I am proud to be black man. Black woman, when I look at you, let me tell you what I see. Blackness. Blackness like a beautiful, warm African night. The blackness of the original people who tried to do things right. Builders of pyramids and founders of civilization. Mathematics, science, medicine, and who were the first to build a nation. Blackness, like the eons of strong African women who have endured drought, famine, capture, the Middle Passage, slavery, rape, seeing their men killed and their children taken away, and who still come back to face the world with hope in their eyes, a song on their voice, and a smile on their beautiful black faces. Yes, black woman, your blackness is a badge of strength, courage, endurance, but most of all, beauty. So wear it well, my sister, for it is a beautiful hue. Never be ashamed of it, because blackness is beauty, and blackness is you. Yes, you are black and beautiful, and beside you I always stand, and tell the world that I love you, and that I am proud to be. I am proud to be your man.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Awesome. Asante, Baba Jeff.
Beautiful.
A very
Thank you, Baba Jeff.
to the black woman. especially as we're recognizing International Women's Month. Uncle Jobson Neb, welcome, welcome, welcome. Osei family. My name is Minister Malley, and I have the honor of hosting this Sunday service. Welcome to all. We want to first open it up by letting people know about us, what we believe and what we practice. Ashe?
Ashe.
Osei Community Church is a community of the way. The way is Ma'at, truth, justice, and righteousness. We believe the teachings of our elders and our ancestors that the Creator God created the universe and all life and has placed in each of us a part of the divine spirit. God living in us and through us has given to us the right, the responsibility, and the power to establish peace and justice in all human life and true harmony with all of creation. We believe in the living faith of our ancestors. Our way is not merely ritual or belief. Our way is a way of life. Ashe, our affirmation, which will be led by Mama Ngina and Baba Ed.
And I don't see Baba Ed, but I'm going to start.
I'm here.
Okay, there he is. And our affirmation just reminds us of who we are and what we should be doing. And we will know God's truth to be free and self-determined.
Creator, help us to remember the humanity, glory, and suffering of our ancestors and to honor the struggles of our elders.
Let us strive to bring new vision and life to our people. Let there be peace and harmony among us.
Let us be loving, sharing, and creative. Let us work, study, and listen so we may learn, teach, and cultivate self-reliance.
Grant us power, O Holy One, as we struggle to resurrect our hearts and our homeland.
We will raise our children according to the needs of our nation with discipline, patience, devotion, and courage. We will strive to be the living models of the new direction of our people.
We are an African people.
We are children of God. Ashe.
Ashe.
We are
Ashe.
definitely children of God. We are an African people. Asante, Mama Ngina, and Brother Baba Ed. Next, we will have a song brought to us by Baba Jeff.
No, just didn't want the words to get the best of me. Cringing from thoughts that the song could go wrong, while staring through the eyes of possibility. There's a song in my heart, but I haven't learned how to sing it. It permeates my whole being as it waits within the wings. Song in my heart, I wanna learn how to sing it. Permeates my whole being. temptations unknown. Just didn't want the worst to get the best of me. Cringing from thoughts that the song could go wrong, while staring through the eyes of possibility. There's a song in my heart, but I haven't learned how to sing it. It permeates my whole being as it waits within the wings. Song in my heart, I wanna learn how to sing it. Permeates my whole being as it waits within the wings. Hard to say what I really want, out of fear it's unattainable. Find myself doubting that if I reach out, such love would be available. I've got a song in my heart, yeah. As it lays within the wind. I've got a song in my heart, yeah. As it lays within the wind. I've got a song.
Asante Baba, Jeff.
Wonderful.
Ashe, Ashe. Next, we'll have the historical tribute brought to us by Minister Alicia.
Greetings, greetings, everyone. Happy Black Women History Month.
Yeah.
So today, I have a brief historical tribute, and the lady's name is Edna Fisher. But I want to give us a little background and context on her story, because you know what's interesting is that a lot of times when we have movements or and things like that, we have the main people who are usually men, and they get the information. Like, we can get information on them, and sometimes the women, we don't get a lot of information, and there's a lot of digging that needs to be done. And so I just want to say, like, for this historical tribute, I have been doing you know, a lot of history things with my kids on the way to school, as we're just coming out of Black History Month and into Black Women's History Month. Now I'm teaching them about different Black women as we go to school. So this is like this. I started to do this in hopes of getting some information about teaching them. So I wanted to share what I've learned thus far, because I'm going to go deeper into the subject because it's really quite interesting. So the Rastafari movement, it developed in Jamaica in the 1930s after the crowning of Haile Selassie as Ethiopian emperor. So Leonard Howell is dubbed the first Rasta, as he was one of the first preachers of the movement, along with Joseph Hibbert, Archibald Dunkley, and Robert Hines. He and his wife, Kenneth Bennett, established a place called Pinnacle. Kenneth Bennett married Leonard Howell January 31st, 1937. It was a big thing for her to marry him because because Jamaica at that time was very class oriented, and she was of a higher class because she was very, very fair skinned, almost to where she could be almost passing. and some of her relatives were passing. And so for her to marry him, he was very dark skinned. And it was a big thing. And also she was middle class. And at that time, Rastas were being, vilified. They were not, because they were going on the opposite. They were against colonialism, and they were speaking out about it. So Pinnacle was created to be a place of self-sufficiency for Rastas and an entire Rasta community. And it was located in the hills of St. Catherine, Jamaica. The women of the Rasta community were determined to build the Rasta movement, the Rastafari movement. They were active in establishing schools in order to teach their children the true history. At that time, if you were sending your kids to school, and even now, really, if you're sending your kids to school, of course, you were learning about the colonizers' history. You weren't learning about your true history. You weren't learning about self-sufficiency. You weren't learning about any of the ideals or the values that of African people. And so the men of the Rastafari movement were constantly under threat and surveillance and harassment. And the Rastas at that time were perceived as social outcasts. So Pinnacle was very crucial to their community, and they were economically independent. Because many of the men would get jailed and harassed, it was left to the women, and the women stepped up, and they did a lot of the planting. They did all the farming, the raising, the producing, and many of the things that went into building Pinnacle was the women's work. Pinnacle endured countless raids, and eventually it was wiped out in 1958. The official reasons were saying that Howell didn't register the property in his name. So because he didn't register the property in his name, they came up there and they raided the village, and they burnt everything to the ground and sent the people scattered amongst the rest of Jamaica, thinking that they would break up the community and thinking that they would stop the Rastafari movement. But really what they did was just spread it out. But these women, but there was a woman named Edna Fisher who was very active in the Rasta community. Edna Fisher was born poor, but joined the middle class when she was adopted by one of her aunts. She became a successful businesswoman, employer, and landowner in Kingston and St. Andrews. She had built a compound and a farm in order to build self-sufficiency in the community. So after that raid happened, she built a house that formed the basis of the Rastafari Church that she co-founded with Reverend Claudius V. Henry in 1959. That was a year after the final raid, because they were consistently getting raided, but that was the last raid that kind of broke everything up. So with this church, they called it the African Reformed Church of God in Christ. But it soon became apparent that the teachings inside of that Church of God in Christ were Rasta. It was self-sufficiency. It was back to Africa. It was reparations. So basically a Black nationalist movement. And because of that, she became a target. She became the new target, because at first they had what they called the Howellites, which is the people who were in Pinnacle, who were after Leonard Howell, the followers of Leonard Howell. But now when they built this church, then now they became like a focus, because many of the people were following them. So during the trials of the Rasta founders, they had a lot of women who were doing a lot of testifying at that point, which was a good thing. People were doing the women were doing what they were supposed to do, basically. But Edna Fisher was the only woman that was convicted. She was beat and tortured while she was under police, while she was in jail. But as soon as she got out, she did not miss a beat. She still kept going. She went right back to fighting for the Rastafari movement and running her businesses. But at this time, it was very difficult because Rastas were vilified. So unfortunately, on February 26, 1970, she had left Clarendon to go to a fishing village and Rocky Point to get fish for her market. Because at that time, I think she had a bakery and she had a fish market. So usually she would go to Kingston, where the market was. After she got her fish, she would go straight to Kingston. But this time she decided that she was going to go back home to Clarendon. So she was waiting for her ride, or waiting for some transportation, and then she saw a public bus and she decided to get on that public bus. And while she was on that bus, she ended up being killed on that bus, because she was a very prominent figure. People knew who she was. She was fighting hard against the system, and people didn't like that. Some people didn't like that. She worked tirelessly and lived her belief. And you guys are listening to me, I'm a very advocate person of living your belief system. So that was Edna Fisher. So right now I want to pour libation for Edna Fisher and all of the women who fought resisting colonialism in the early Rastafari movement. So pour libation for Edna Fisher.
Ashe.
Ashe,
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Asante Sana, Minister Alicia, I really appreciate how you go into depth and how much information you bring out and share. I hope the rest of the community can appreciate the historical tribute, particularly the way Minister Alicia does it, because if you haven't been paying attention, the current environment in the US, this is becoming one of the few sources of Black history. And it may end up being almost the only source if there are certain folks get their way. So we are sharing a very powerful and meaningful part of our history, and it may become crucial for those of us who serve the divine. So once again, Asante, Minister Alicia, for the historical tribute. Ashe, Ashe, Aman. And now we have a song from Baba Jeff.
I am that I am. 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 I am that I. I am that I am that I am. I am that I am I am that I am. 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 I am that
Ashe, ashe, ashe. Well, I hope that these songs and the part of the service is continuing to energize you and lift you up and get them doldrums of the lost hour out of your system. As we are moving in the service, it is coming on, at least for me, I'm feeling my energy lifting up. Ashe, ashe, ashe. And so now we have the litany of sacrifice, which will be conducted by Sister Michelle and Brother Damani.
Hey, good morning, Jose. Good job, Sanab, to everyone. I just like to read one passage from the book of Ptahhotep, just one sentence on page 47, number 18. Be generous as long as you live. What goes into the storehouse should come out, for bread is made to be shared. All right, time in our service, we pay our bills and make sure our institutions, our spiritual institutions, Sacramento, are open our financial solvent. So I'm waiting for Brother Bill to. So here we go, litany of sacrifice. Save us, O Holy One, by your name. Vindicate us by your might. Hear my prayer, divine protector. Listen to the words of my mouth. How can we repay the Holy One for the gifts that have been given to us? We will lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the God of our ancestors. We will fill our vows to our Creator in the presence of all our people. Gladly we bring our sacrifices to you. We praise your name, O Amun-Ra, for it is good. Umoja, unity. We should strive to maintain unity in family, community, nation, and race.
Ujichagalia, self-determination. We shall define, name, create, and speak for ourselves.
Yajima, collective work and responsibility. We should build and maintain our communities together. Our brothers and sisters' problems shall be ours to solve together.
Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Together we shall build and maintain our businesses and together profit from them.
Nia, purpose. We should make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community and the restoration of our people to our traditional greatness.
Kuumba, creativity. We shall do as much as we can in any way we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it.
Imani, faith. We will believe with all our hearts in our God, our people.
And in the righteousness and victory of our struggle.
Ashe.
Ashe.
All right, on the screen, you got the address to Wose, Oakland, and Wose, Sacramento, in the websites. Personally, I use PayPal myself. Anyway, that's the how you can, different ways you can send in your donations.
If we could bow our head in our moment of prayer. O Mother, Father, God, she who is of the Most High, the maker of all that is and shall be, the giver of all our needs, the knower of what is beyond truth. O Amun-Ra, we come before you this day in our time of giving and sacrifice to show our true selves to you, Most High, and to lay before you our offerings, aiming to keep the doors of Wose open physically, virtually, spiritually. For Amun-Ra, we love you. We praise you, are grateful for your being and your being within each of us. What we sacrifice is a way to make physical our connection to you, O Holy One. What we sacrifice supports the way, supports us. Look how we walk in this world. Our appearance alerts others something is coming. Our talk is a respite for the weary. Our words restore truth. Our actions bring respect. Our auras bring protection, and our prayers a healing force. Our collective is a full demonstration of the Nguzo Saba. Each of your individual sacrifices lead to the vindication of our ancient African ways and is a way to sacrifice as our African people have done since the dawn of humankind. Show God your love, praise, action, and show your soul. Never forsake the way. Give unto God, give unto yourself. Give what you can, for everyone can. Do not stop ego from giving the change in your pocket or passing the penny or nickel to your child or grandchild so they may begin the pattern of sacrifice. The way has always been stated and built into eternity through repetition of our wisdom and rights. Giving is a state of mind. Get your mind right onto the path of the way. Sacrifice in the name of Amun-Ra. Give thanks to all those who receive these words. Ashe, Amen, Ashe.
Ashe Aman. Asante Sana, Brother Damani and Sister Michelle. I hope the words of the prayer and of the Nguzo Saba resonate with all of us. Now, we are preparing and have been prepared for the meal. We are now going to be blessed by the message brought to our founder and minister emeritus, Minister Makalisi.
Ashe, Ashe, Amun-Ra Hetep will say, Amun-Ra Hetep. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful day. Another day the Most High is entrusted unto us. The gift of life is entrusted unto us, a measure of divine sacred essence entrusted unto us. Even while there's a little snow falling here in Amelia, Virginia, it's a warm spirit that is flowing from this worship service thus far. Ashe, Ashe. Well, I have this message today that with us in the middle of International Women's Month has led to this message that's has a title called Being and Becoming a Mother of Truth, Beauty, Goodness, and Grace. And I want to start with, hope y'all can tolerate me, I want to start with a song that I put together in 2006. I don't think it's ever been shared except in my shower. I don't know if, I don't think it was ever shared at the Wose community, but it's a song called My Heart, My Mother. And it goes like this. My heart, my mother, my mother, my heart, my heart, my mother, my heart, my mother, my mother, my heart, my heart, my mother, my heart, my mother, you brought me into being. Let the ears and eyes of love be the ones with which I'm hearing and seeing. My heart, my mother, sacred essence living in me. Be the strength of my limbs and my love right now and eternally. My mother, my heart, my mother, my mother, my heart, my mother. Let it be that I hear words of truth and justice as you whisper in my ears, as you sing to my soul. Help me know courage, courage and compassion as I'm living. Help me help someone so my living is not in vain. My mother, my heart, my mother, let it be that I see my people growing stronger in peace and unity and true prosperity. Let me always stand tall on this path of salvation. Let me double the gifts you give and hear welcome and well done. My mother, my heart, my mother, my mother, my heart, my mother, my heart, my mother, my mother, my heart, my heart, my mother, my mother.
You cannot keep things like that from us. You cannot
Asheo.
keep things like that from
That was
us.
grand,
Oh,
grand.
God, beautiful.
Yes.
Ashe,
Yes.
Asante, Asante,
I'd like to hear
Sana.
more music behind.
Ashe, one of these days, all right. Being and becoming a mother of truth, beauty, goodness, and grace. And foundation inspiration for this message is coming from the Hosea, two passages in the Hosea, from the book of Ani, that's on page 56, passage number 12, and also from the Hosea, book of Coming Forth by Day, on passage number 3 on page 106. So let's read them first. From the book of Ani. Double the gifts your mother gave you and care for her as she cared for you. She bore a heavy burden in you and did not abandon you. When she brought you forth after your month, she was still bound closely to you. For her breast was still in your mouth for 3 years. While you grew, she cleaned your filth without disgust in her heart and without saying, oh, what can I do? She placed you in schools to be educated and came there daily on your behalf with bread and beer for your teacher. Thus, when you become a young man or woman and marry and establish your house, lose not sight of your own childhood. Raise your children as your mother did you. Do not let her find fault with you, lest she raise her hands to God against you, and God hear her complaints and punish you. And then from the book of Coming Forth by Day, page 106, number 3. Oh, my heart, my mother, my heart, my mother, my heart, whereby I come into being. Stand not up against me as a witness, nor oppose me in the council of judgment. Weigh not heavy against me before the keeper of the balance. You are my divine essence, which dwells in my body, the divine power, which makes strong my limbs. When you come forth in the place of happiness where we go, May you not cause my name to send forth an offensive odor before those who assign people to their rightful place. May it be favorable for us and the hearer be favorable to us, and there be joy at the weighing of words. Let not falsehood be uttered against me before the great God, for surely your righteousness will cause you to rise up in triumph. Being and becoming a mother of truth, beauty, goodness, and grace. Well, in our first text, the statement of respect and appreciation for our women, for our mothers, African women, for being and becoming mothers of truth, beauty, goodness, and grace, and seeking to instill respect for those qualities of life into every generation of African Kemetic human civilization. Double the gifts your mother gave you. What did our mothers give to us? The ancient mothers. What did our mothers give to us? Those here and now. What did our mothers give to us to the best of their ability under the demonic circumstances that we've been subjected to? Well, respect for life, devotion to the fulfillment, the basic needs of each precious life. Deal with the highs and lows, the fun as well as the filth on the even and balanced scale. Our mothers wanted us to do all we can in every way we can to ensure a society, a village of justice for everyone. To understand the importance of intergenerational harmony for peace, for prosperity, for unity and stability in the family, in the community, in the village. Double the gifts your mother gave to you. What other gifts were there? Respect for ancestors. Refrain from destroying the powers of your God-given brain through the excessive consumption of the various forms of wines, of weeds, and anti-social media. What? Refrain from destroying the power of your God-given brain through the excessive consumption of the various forms of wine, of weed, and anti-social media. Teach your children, teach the children to be and to become effective soldiers in the army of Ma'at, from cradle to grave. Teach the children, teach the children. Don't turn them over to social media, teach the children. Don't turn them over to television, teach the children. Don't turn them over to ignorance, anti-African so-called educational systems. We must teach the children, being and becoming mothers of truth, beauty, goodness, and grace. But let's be clear though, these are not gifts for which mothers alone are solely responsible. It takes a village. It takes the village. It takes village consciousness between father and mother. It takes village consciousness between mother and grandmother. It takes village consciousness between uncles and aunts, between sisters and brothers. We have to work together to do all we can, every way we can, to be all that the Most High has entrusted unto us to be and to become. But it is to mothers, it's to mothers that the Most High has given the gift of the most nearly God-like relationship to human life that is possible in this world. You know, it's the mother the mother, our mothers, who have firsthand experience of life stirring within themselves, struggling to come forth with the joy, with the tears, with the pains, with the pleasures that such an experience can bring about. It's the mothers who have that experience, firsthand experience, first heart and soul experience, to be and become mother of truth, beauty, goodness, and grace. So the quintessential mother of truth, beauty, goodness, and grace of our sacred African way is Mother Aset, the human, the physical, the spiritual embodiment of a multitasking, widowed mother, protecting her child from the dangers of the world while she pursued the mission of taking the principles of Ma'at to wherever the spirit and love of the Most High, the spirit and love of her assassinated husband inspired her to go forward, take these principles, take this spirit, take this power, take this love, protect that child, do all you can in every way you can, be diligent, always doing more than is expected. And Mother Aset and did that. But thanks be to Amun-Ra that our story doesn't end there. For down through the ages, we have had biological and spiritual mothers who have gone the second, the third, excuse me, and endless miles, following in the footsteps of Mother Aset through thick and thin. Who? Oh, Queen Hatshepsut, Queen Nefertiti, Queen Nzinga. Besides those queens, but we can call them queens, why not? Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Madam C.J. Walker, Barbara Jordan. How about Fannie Lou Hamer, Betty Shabazz, Coretta Scott King, and countless other numbers of wives and mothers and sisters and brothers doing all they could in every way they could to heal, to nurture, and give the gifts of love and liberation for themselves, for their children, for all of us, for their people. Being and becoming mothers of beauty, goodness, and grace. And then each of us, all of us, I'm sure, have stories to share about mothers who made crucial differences in our lives, helping us to see that we are God's children and therefore truly somebody, that we are God's children, truly more than the so-called educational system of this country, of this world is trying to impose upon us, tell us that we're nothings and nobodies. Those who came to our motherland in the ancient days and saw what we were doing, what our ancestors were doing, and they loved it so much, they embraced it, they plagiarized it, took it back home to their people, and then they try to tell us that, tell the world, tell their people, oh, those folks over there, they ain't nothing, they're less than human. What? They're less than human, but we're trying to emulate them. They're less than human, but we're trying to do what they do. No, we give thanks and praises for the mothers who spoke to us, who embraced us, who loved us to the fullest extent that they were capable to help us understand that we are somebody. We are God's children. But the story doesn't end there. It does not end there, because there were mothers of truth, beauty, and goodness without whom the Wose community of the sacred African way would likely have died out. Women of Vos, the women of Vosé, some who are now ancestors, others who are still here with us, doing all they can, every way they can to keep us on the pathway of truth, beauty, goodness, truth, beauty, and goodness, truth, beauty, and goodness, every day of our lives, with every ounce of our lives, with every breath of our lives. Do all we can every day we can to be diligent, to do all we can, to teach the children, to do all we can, to have relationships of unity and love with one another, to do all we can, to have vision of where we need to go, want to go, must go as a people. Do all we can to become that people. Finally, sisters and brothers, we must understand that our story doesn't end there. In and through our second text, our Creator and our ancestors want us to understand that this mothering is not just a female responsibility. It's not to be left only to our women. This text is communicating to us the sacred reality that the dimensions of heart and mother have been entrusted unto each of us, to all of us. My heart, my mother, my heart. And it empowers us, and it requires that each of us who breathe Amun-Ra's breath of life, and each of us who enjoy the bounty that comes from Amun-Ra's earth, men and women, must become vibrant members of the village in giving love and compassion and help to somebody as we pass along, so that our living will not be in vain. If we don't help and share what we have, what we know, what we've been blessed with by the Most High, what we've been blessed with by our biological mothers, what we've been blessed with by our spiritual mothers, by what we've been blessed with our ancient mothers, if we don't bring those values to life and share them and embellish them with every opportunity, every chance we get, then our living is in vain. And we don't need any more of that. We got enough of that vanity living, in vain living going on day and night, night and day. Pick up the newspaper, brothers, sisters, abusing, killing each other. We need to do all we can, every day we can, every way we can, to bring truth, beauty, goodness, and grace to our people, young and old. Do you know and respect? Do you respect and revere the mothering potential in you? Brothers as well as sisters. Oh, do you know and respect, revere that mothering potential that's been given to you? My heart, my mother, my heart. Where we go, wherever we go, whenever we go, when we ready to lay down this life, let it not be found that I lost and neglected the daily opportunity to become a mothering force of truth, beauty, goodness, and grace, to multiply Ma'at in the world through deeds of faith and love, through deeds of courage and love, through deeds of diligence and love, through deeds of compassion and love. Oh, my heart, oh, my mother, my heart, my mother within me. Let it be found that I found you in me. And I was strong in my limbs and strong in my love and strong in my quest for truth and justice and right order, left and right, up and down, black and even white. to stand against fear and hate, to stand for harmony and righteousness, and against war, against the dehumanization of our history, of our culture, of our civilization, of our humanity. Be alive and well and diligent in me, my heart. Be alive and well and diligent in me, my heart, my mother, my heart. Undying love, eternal love of Amen-Ra living in me. Compassion of Amen-Ra lived in me. Thank you for giving us mothers and others who surrendered to the call to mother our lives, who surrendered to the call of Ma'at and love, the call of our virtues and love, the call to control our thoughts, control our actions, to live with a divine purpose, to live with trust for the truth that flows from Amen-Ra. Live with diligence, understand we have the ability to assimilate that truth and to wield that truth, to know the difference between right and wrong, to know the difference between the real and the unreal, especially within ourselves, to know when it's Ma'at and know when it's not. Oh, my heart, my mother, my heart. Help us even to learn to deal with freedom from resentment. Somewhere it says that resentment is like drinking some poison and thinking it's going to eliminate the one who's imposing negativity, injustice upon you. Oh, we have to, but there's also from our declarations, yeah, do not be angry without a just cause. So we have to figure out a way when there's those kind of challenges. We just don't let ourselves be drowned in resentment, but we find the effective way to bring that a change to that civilization, to that situation. Bless us, oh, my heart, my mother, my heart. Bless me, bless us to desire and be determined to walk each day in that sacred way and spread the gift of your infinite presence, your infinite calling here below as above. We just give thanks and praises for all those mothers, those sisters who've been with us over these ages, from ancient times, present times, 42 years of Wose community, those who come recently, maybe only been here for 42 days. We appreciate those sisters, women of Wose, doing all they can in every way we can. And then we appreciate and growing, we're going to do all we can, brothers, are we not, to respect at the power, the potential for mothering is not just a feminine, female calling. It's for each of us, all of us, in whom the Spirit of the Most High lives, in whom the Spirit of Ma'at lives, in whom the virtues of our way live, in whom Nguzo Saba principles live, in whom those declarations of innocence live. We are called to embrace those and to mother them into our children, to mother them into our village, to mother them into every activity that we do for truth, justice, and righteousness. Let us all do all we can, every day we can, every way we can, to know and respect, and revere the mothering potential that our Creator and our ancestors have given to us, and call for us to rise up and be diligent to be and become sources of truth, beauty, goodness, and grace. Ashe, Amen Ram, Ashe.
Ashe. Sanchez Sandra, wonderful.
Ashe, Ashe. At this time, we would like to invite anyone who has not taken the step towards becoming a confirmed known member of our community. We invite you to come forward, raise your hand, raise your voice, be heard, and declare that you'd like to join with us in our efforts to create a community that respects and practices sacred African way, sacred African traditions, that practices a goal of reaching a higher state of being, reaching our best selves through practicing Ma. If that's you, if you hear my voice, let me hear your voice. Unmute yourself, say you're here, say you're interested. We'll get in touch with you. We'll call you, have a conversation, answer any questions that you might have, anything you might need clarification about. Come forward and be a part of this movement. Don't be shy. If you do have interest, if you'd like to put your name into the chat rather than raising your voice, there's another option of going under the reactions, which are at the bottom of your screen, and clicking that and raising your hand if you like. And if not, then we'll be here next week. Same place, same channel, same most beautiful people on the face of this earth, including you, if I can see your face. Okay, let me just scroll through the gallery screen one more time. Thank you so much, Minister Makalisi, for that wonderful message. It was inspiring. Your song was inspiring as well. And I even noticed in the chat that a gentleman commented and said that he's a single father, so he definitely understands and he appreciated the fact that you directed that message so that it spoke to the men as well as the women. And that's definitely appreciated. All right. So if we do not have anyone at this time, and again, feel free to put something in the chat and we will be here next Sunday. I heard a rumor. I heard a rumor on the wind, as they say. Now, in this case, it wasn't a bad one. It was a good one, because it means that someone took a circle, took a round around, and had what's called a birthday. I believe it was over this past weekend. And I think they just hid their face. Oh, rumor has it they might have just heard me. It would be our Minister Imhotep, who had a birthday. We have something for you. And I'm gonna set it off. I can't sing a lick, but I got lots of energy. So I'm gonna say, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
And I'm following, and happy birthday to you.
And I'm
Happy
following
birthday to you. And I'm
Happy
going to
birthday.
spotlight everyone in Wose one at a time so we can each say, happy birthday, Minister
Happy
Imhotep.
All right.
Happy
Spotlight
birthday.
us.
birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Many more.
birthday.
You're still a young man.
And to your mama
Uh,
who gave birth.
indeed.
Happy birthday.
Yes, indeed. Thank
To
you.
your
Thank
mama.
you. Thank you, everyone. Yes. To
Love you.
Virginia, to Virginia Bell, Harvey,
Mm.
who I don't know, my head was so big, she probably didn't want to have my sister after, you know, so just so it, but she had my Yeah, it was the same size as this now. No.
That's why you
Thank-
know so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. That's
Thank you
very,
very
very
much.
nice.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah.
We're gonna celebrate.
Mhm.
How are you gonna celebrate?
Celebration time.
How are you
Come
going
on.
to celebrate?
Well, I had a really nice dinner on Friday, and a really close friend sent a key lime pie.
Mm.
You know, but,
That sounds
I
good.
I had a big one on 60. Well, some of you were there. A lot of you were there on the 60th. So, yeah, give thanks for that. I'm glad to be here. Glad what's the phrase? Glad to be seen and not viewed.
Yes, that was gosh,
Valeria.
she passed Sister Valeria. Yeah, she used to
Valeria.
always say that.
Valerie, yeah, I made a birthday video for myself, but I'll just yes, I did. Thank you, Saraswati. Thank you. I did get that. Thank you. I'm sorry. I did get that gift. I made a birthday video for myself, but you'll have to go to Doris's Facebook to see that. I'm not gonna play it today.
Why not?
It was fantastic.
We asked you for it.
Absolutely. The music
Play
was
it.
good. You
Mr.
gotta go look at
Vitoli.
it, y'all. You gotta
You know,
look
if I
at
can,
it.
I can get it at the end of service, I will. It's kind of big. So
It is.
I thought it was incredible. I think you should call it the evolution
I need to
of
put my
gospel.
fist up the top. I think I have a suggestion that from now on, when we're trying to pass the mic, we should put our fist up in the air. That's the way we let everybody know we're done talking and we passing the mic. I think that's my little contribute to today. Like that's gonna be our new symbol. You put your fist up when you're done talking, and that'll help with the pauses in between. How y'all like that?
Nisi.
I hope it works.
Y'all know y'all can't talk forever. You can't keep the fists holding up there the whole time. I'm just kidding. I just want to say, Big Uncle, thank you so much for choosing this planet at this time and allowing me to share in your life. You know, I've known you since I'm 10 years old, and you have been an integral part of what divine masculine energy is for me and helping me to understand that and experience that. And I'm just so grateful because part of who I am, you know, a lot of us have been trained to say, what would Jesus do? And there's so many times in my life when I had to use my decision making and I would say, what would Baba Imhotep do? What wisdom would he share? What would he impart to help guide the way for me? So just thank you for surrendering to your path and your reason of healing and teaching as a divine teacher. And I'm just so grateful. And the poet in me could not let church go by without taking a moment to fill your ears and your heart with the love that I have for you and what you mean to me in my life. Thank you so much for being a positive man in my life. Happy birthday.
All right, so let
Thank
us now have the closing song for our service, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Baba.
I had Minister Molly, I wanted to interject. I put in as a Pan-African Affairs on the Pan-African Affairs Committee. I'm the chair, and anyone else that's on our committee, if you have something to share, I'm gonna put some updates at the end of the service. One of the flyers I put was the Sankofa conference that's coming up in April.
Okay, but excuse me.
So
we need to close our service. Then during the wrap up, we can share that information. Let's keep this
okay, I don't want anyone in the service to miss out on this. So it's in the chat. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you, Minister Molly.
Let's please close the service with Lift
I
Every
close?
Voice and Sing. Baba Jeff, could you play that, please?
Wow, where was that? That was,
I believe that was at the parade that was this weekend. I think that's where that was.
so,
Yes, Baba Tai sent that to me. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood it was from the Black Joy Parade 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks. I don't know how long ago it was. But he sent that to me. I looked at it and it was featuring Desmond Iman, who was just speaking a minute ago. And it also featured Baba Tai. So they led off the singing, and it was a fantastic version. So I don't know if Desmond Iman wants to say anything, but
hold tight on that,
Yes.
Baba Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Minister Rana, will you close this out to just completely close this out? Thank you.
Yeah, he says completely closed. I just want to thank everyone who is in attendance today. Thank you all for showing up and for showing out. We appreciate each and every one of you. Don't know where you are. It's a rainy day here in California, a day to kind of sleep late with the time changing and all that. It definitely add to that emotion, but I thank you for choosing to share your time with Jose. Special thank you, sound like Stevie Wonder, but to our ancestors who also came, who always will come when we call them. We just have to call. We have to make it an intentional act to call on them to be with us, to share with us. Each and every one of you, all of you who I can see your faces and those who I can't that have locked it in my mind, you are the most beautiful people on the face of this earth. Please continue to strive towards your highest version of yourself. Let Mott be your filter. Happy belated birthday, Minister Imhotep. And to everybody who put notes in the chat of something that I needed to do, I did. Okay, thank you all. Please stay for messages. Please stay for, what am I trying to say?
Updates, messages.
Thank you. Updates and all of that stuff if you like now. Have a good day, everyone.